Hey guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phebe Joi. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Something About Tuesdays, episode 23. Hi, Happy New Year! Woo! You know, if I had thought about it, and I thought about this like right before I recorded, I would have had an extra episode somewhere in there. So this could have been episode 24 for the year 2024, but alas, it is episode 23. And hi, it's a new year. You guys, I haven't released a podcast since last year. All those jokes, all those I haven't seen you since last year, they're so corny. And yet I find myself still saying them. Like I'll still be like, see you next year. Or, we won't know all the way until next year. All of those things. But anywho, Happy New Year, you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a new year. I hope that it went wonderful for you. I hope your last couple of weeks have went good. I hope your Christmas went well. I know I already had my Christmas episode, technically, but I had recorded it 2 days before Christmas. So I've had Christmas now. I haven't talked to you since my Christmas, and it went very, very well. I love my family. They are traditions. We actually, not too long ago, at one of our ladies' Christmas banquets, we were talking about kind of like the traditions that you have or that you want to set with your family around the holidays. And one of our traditions that we do is just breakfast. So when it was just my family, so mom, dad, my sis, and me, we would have to eat breakfast before we could open any gifts. And I say, when you're a little kid and you just know you've got those presents and you just know that you want to open those gifts, it's so hard to sit there and like wait for mom to cook and wait to, we'd have to brush our teeth, wash our face, eat our breakfast, do all those things. I don't think we had to get dressed because we were allowed to wear our PJs, but we still had to, I feel like, wait so long before we got to open those presents. But honestly, that's the thing that I hang on to. That's the thing that we hold on to today, that even now, as adults, even though I don't live with my parents, we still do breakfast together. So my parents and my sister were able to come over Christmas morning. I cooked breakfast. If you are not a cook like myself, then you know breakfast is kind of the easiest meal to kind of do. There's it's not too difficult. I think it'd be harder to mess up breakfast than it would be to try to make it amazing or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say there. So we made biscuits. I can't remember if my husband made gravy or not. I don't know if we did. Honestly, sometimes we do have gravy. My hubs will make it from scratch, from like the grease of something and some flour or something, or sometimes we'll make it from a can or a box or something. I don't know, but I can't remember if we had it this year. I guess we didn't, or I would remember. But anyway, so we had that. We have our bacon and our sausage. We got to do both. Actually, my husband and I, we just went to Bardstown. I told you guys about that last week, to go pick up I call it our pig, but we get pig meat. We get pork and things, from this butcher shop or whatever, where we get like tons of bacon and tons of sausage and all of that stuff. And so that's really yummy and good to make. I love my bacon, y'all. I always say I almost could be vegetarian, or at least like pescatarian, eating fish or eating just fish and chicken, if it wasn't for bacon. Y'all, bacon is just so good. That's not my food segment. It's just that good. I think it's already been on my food segment before, but y'all know. That's just how I feel about the bacon. It was good. It's greasy. I think was it this last one? I don't know if it was the last one or two ago, but anyway. So we had the bacon, the sausage. I made eggs for everyone, because that's pretty easy to do. And luckily everybody wanted scrambled eggs. I have had to fry eggs before, and my husband's one of those strange people who likes it sunny side up. If you are one of them people that is so, look, y'all, I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can have a runny egg. Like, I just, okay. Like, I just can't. That just sounds so gross to me. It looks gross. I've got to have it cooked like all the way through. But, some people like it. My husband likes it. My daughter likes it. Okay, shout out to y'all people. It's kind of gross, but if that's what you like, that's fine. So we had that, and then we had our biscuits. We had mom brought some Danishes over. She brought over her fried potatoes, and let me tell you, fried potatoes are super yummy, especially when they're crunchy and a little greasy, like fresh grease though, not old. Dried out grease, but nice fresh grease. That's really good. So I think that's what we had. Yeah, and then just some of course, some toast with, I say toast with butter. And, but my mom actually, and my husband even, and even my dad said he could, they can eat just bread and butter. You guys, I gotta have toast. I didn't even, like, I knew that was a thing, I guess, bread and butter, but I feel like I have to have, it's gotta be toasted. Like, I gotta have toasted bread. Like, because the butter has to melt. Like, I just don't want it sitting on top of my bread, and the bread has to crunch a little bit. I just can't chew it. Like, I can have toast without butter because I like the taste of toast, I guess. But I can't just have like plain old bread with some toast with some butter on it. Like, it's got to be toasted. It's got to be warm. That's just me, but alas, my family can do that. So we had our breakfast, and then we got to open our gifts and do lots of fun stuff there. And one thing that I had to laugh at was there was at least 3 gifts that were in these big old boxes. And when I went to go look for them, to see who they were, you're anticipating, ooh, like, is this for me? Y'all, it was not for me. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for any human member of my family. It was for my cat. I was like, what, mama? Which, I mean, I did. I was like, Mom, he could use a new bowl or whatever. But she got him these toys. And it was just funny because it's this big old box. She got him this big round, like, play thing. It was funny because I was not anticipating that the cat would get a big old box of stuff. And not just one box, like 2 or 3 boxes of stuff. I was like, this is a cat. Like, Mama, I'm your daughter. Like, that's a cat. But she did that for King Leo, that's the name of my kitty. And for Mona Lisa, that's the name of my sister's cat. And then she also had stuff for her dog, Sophia. So the pets even got to enjoy. It was a great time all around. And yeah, so our Christmas, it was really good. We did that. And kind of a new tradition that we started, I would say, in the last couple of years. And it's something I think we've done off and on, but it's something that I think I'm going to try to sneak and make a tradition, is playing games on Christmas Day. So, and not just playing games, because we would always play games. My family is a huge Phase 10 family. Actually, I believe I talked about Phase 10, maybe episode 1 or 2, because I played it with some friends of mine, and it's fun to play, but my goodness, it will test your Holy Ghost, because you can get mad, you can get offended so easily, and it's a game, y'all, but it's just a game. But, so Phase 10, I love it. But last year I started asking for I think it was last year, maybe even the year before, asking for, like games, just new games that I had either heard about or looked up for me to get for Christmas. And then we actually play that new game that day. Last year I asked for this meme game, which I think is called What Do You Meme, maybe? And y'all, I didn't even realize. I think I bought it for myself and then put it as for myself from Santa. That's what I do when I buy stuff for myself. I just say it's from Santa once I wrap it. But I had bought that game last year, What Do You Meme? And I did not realize I had bought the not family friendly version. Like, I didn't realize there were 2 versions. I was like, oh, this looks like fun. Okay, if you guys get that game, make sure you find the family friendly version, because we started pulling out some of those cards, and I read a couple. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just didn't know what to do. I was like, "Rah!" And so we had to go through the cards and like throw out the ones that were just trashy, and that was definitely way adult humor. I don't even want to say adult humor because I'm an adult and I have humor, but just trashy humor, okay? Like, we didn't need none of that. So we had to throw that away. But once we filtered through it, once we realized like, okay, like some of these, inappropriate. But once we got rid of the trashy stuff, it was a pretty fun game to play. What Do You Meme? And I think we played it last year. We haven't played it since. But or maybe once more since then. I think you have a card. Everybody has cards that are memes, like pictures. And then somebody has a phrase. And then almost like apples to apples, everybody submits their card that they think will go with it. And then the person picks the one that they think matches. But anyway, so that was pretty fun, and that was last year. And so this year I asked for the game. What's it called? Now, look, okay, hit or miss, because it was a game I had heard about on one of my podcasts, Ghost Runners podcast, in case you want to check it out. And it's not about ghosts, but it seemed fun when they mentioned it. So I was like, okay, it's a card game, kind of like a what do you mean game. It's basically there's a word, you pull a card and there's a word, and then everybody has to write down, which is odd because it's like how many games you have to write. So you do have to have paper and pencil for this for everybody, but you're timed and everybody has to write down things that they think about with that word. You get like 45 seconds to do it. And then you have to go around and just hit you. Okay, it's hard to explain if you haven't played it, but if you get hit, how many people, you try to say something that you think everybody got. And if you get missed, then you try to come up with a word that you think nobody else got. And so it's a fun one. And we've actually played it twice now because we played it for New Year's Eve as well. But so the first round, you guys, look, okay, we all got our cards. I'm the first person to go. And my card is doctor. And when I look at the card, it says doctor with a blank next to it, okay? So keep that in mind. So we all go to write stuff down. Everybody's writing feverishly, just jotting stuff down as fast as they can. And then it's like, okay. And so I get hit. So I have to come up with something that everybody has written down. And I just know what everybody's going to have written down. And so I, with confidence and boldness, and see if you can come up with it. Like if you had doctor, what would you write down? And if you saw doctor with a blank, what would you write down? Right? So I said with boldness, Doctor Who. And when I say everybody looked at me and immediately started laughing, I was like, none of y'all put Doctor Who. And they were like, no, we put stuff like cardiologist, pediatrician. And I was like, but there was a doctor blank. And so to me, it meant fill in the blank. I mean, I was like, the one doctor who's the medicine woman. Like I guess I was trying to fill in the blank, but they were just coming up with doctors, which because they didn't see the card, they just heard me say doctor. So they were just coming up with a list of doctors. But because I had seen the card with the dash, I was like, I'm just filling in the blank. And I mean, when I say they just laughed at me, and it was funny because I, with confidence, was like, everybody's going to say Doctor Who, right? Like what other doctor can you think of other than Doctor Who? And yeah, nobody had that one. I should have played it as a miss because literally none of them got it. But yeah, my dad did say he was on the similar page because he did say doctor somebody. I can't remember who he said, but he at least had filled in the blank as well with me. But that's pretty fun. So that's one game that I would definitely recommend, that if you want to do with your family or with any friends or whatever, that's a pretty fun one. And it's good to see kind of what people are thinking. And we did something called honorable mentions. So after everybody's round was over, after the round was over, we'd still share the things that maybe you said or thought about when, during that time, and you can still make connections like, oh, I wrote that down too, or I didn't even think about that. So that was a pretty fun game. And I think, that's a tradition that we did for Christmas, but that's so much fun. And it's something that's not electronics related, y'all. That's not part of my New Year's resolution, but it kind of is. I'm trying to move away from social media, not the podcast. I love that. But like move away from just having to have a screen in my face, right? Like I still want to listen to things because I definitely think listening is still a good skill. It's good to learn. It's good to do. And you can still do other productive things while you listen. But man, sitting and scrolling on my phone is not productive. And I'm not saying I have to be productive every minute of my life, but y'all, like when I think about just the time wasted on my phone on January 1st, so day one, I was like, I'm going to start trying to pay attention. If you have an iPhone, they have your screen time calculated, and maybe all phones do too. I'm not really sure. But just looking at my screen time, I spend so much time on my phone. And I was like, you know what? Day one, I'm going to see where I am. I'm going to see where I start, and I'm just going to make little steps to get better. And that ties into my New Year's resolution, which I don't want to jump right into, but I kind of am. I'm about to jump right into it. Let me wrap up the game stuff. So Hit and Miss was a fun game. The meme one, what do you mean? Something like that. That's a fun one. Just make sure you get the family friendly version. Phase 10, if you want to test your Holy Ghost and make sure you want to test your ability to stay saved, play that game. But yeah, so that was Christmas. It was wonderful. It went by so fast. You guys, I can't believe I'm talking about Christmas in past tense. Like, y'all, it came and it went. Like, I still feel like I just recorded the fall episode but it's winter. It's officially winter. The winter solstice has happened. Our days are now getting longer. Like, y'all, we're in winter and we're moving on with it. And I just can't believe we're already there. So yeah, Christmas was awesome. I hope yours was too. I hope you got to spend time with family or with friends or by yourself if you felt like it. I don't know, or at least you got some alone time. I do hope you spend some time with someone who made you happy. And if you're an introvert where like people drain you, I hope you also got a little bit of time to be by yourself. So yeah, so that was Christmas break. My sister, or Christmas Day, my sister's birthday was last Saturday, and so we got to celebrate her. Her favorite way to celebrate, of course, is going to Barnes and Noble. So we went to the bookstore, and I like bookstores. I need to spend more time in the bookstore. That was another thing that made me be like, man, I really don't want to spend as much time on social media, or just not even social media, because I don't always get on like Facebook or Instagram, but I'll spend a lot of time because I do have games on my phone, or I'll watch YouTube or things like that. And so I want to get back into reading more. I mean, I did that whole book episode with my sister, and just thinking, like, when we were in Barnes and Noble, first off, you're going to see some interesting things at Barnes and Noble. I'm not going to go into that, but bookstores, you're going to run into interesting people. You are going to see all kinds of things, but it's a bookstore. You can find books on like almost any topic. You can just and like my sister said, like, you can find a book based on your mood. I am so feeling that this year. Like, you know what? I want to find a book based on my mood, not based on what I think I should be listening to or reading, not based on what I feel like would be good, just because everybody else is doing it, but based on what do I need right now? What am I feeling right now? Do I want a good fiction book right now? Then I'm going to find one. Do I need a book to speak to me a certain way, or some type of nonfiction self-help book? Then I'm going to find that, and I want to read that. That's what I want to do this year. I want to read. I want to spend a lot more time reading. So, and I was talking to my friend about it. It is a little harder being in school, as far as taking college classes and things. But at the same time, with as much time as I spend on my phone, I think I can find the time to read as well. So that is part of my kind of New Year's resolutions and goals. Like I said, we're going to get there. But yeah, so I do have to tell you a quick story while we were at Barnes and Noble. So one, just looking all around at all the different books and the different categories. Like, normally if I go to Barnes & Noble, it's because I'm looking for a specific book to find. And so I will just go in, find my book, and get out. And usually checking half-price book first, right? But with my sister, I know she likes to go in and scope the books out and find what she's looking for. And so I knew I'd have a little bit of time in there is what I'm trying to say. So I was like, okay, let me actually look through some books. So I start out in the religion section, nice, good, safe section, just see what kind of Christian books are out there, some encouraging books. And I found a couple that seemed interesting to me. And then I meandered over to self-help books because I love, books on how to have a better life, how to, make things better, how to think differently, all that stuff. So I looked over there and enjoyed that. All of those books, that was pretty fun, glanced over at some of the psychology books, things like that. Sometimes it got got to some interesting stuff, but that was fun. Of course, scan the manga section. I didn't this time around, but usually I do. I'll go scan over there and see some of the old mangas that I used to read. And then, the kids' books, gotta love the kids' books. And then I just kind of meander around and just see what pops, what catches my eye. I check out the journals too, because I'm a big journal person. I got so many journals, all half filled out, but I love them. So just walking around, I was getting so inspired to read though. Like, I need to go to a library so I can get all these books for free. And so I've been wanting to go to the library to just pick me up some books. And see what I can find, because I just want to read. And I do think there is that pressure, though, with the library, with your books being due. I think within 3 weeks, I feel like I have to read them. And then if I don't read them, then it's like, Whereas if you buy the book, it's yours forever. So you can kind of take your time with how you want to read it. You can mark it up if it's like a, self-help type book. So my fiction books I usually do get from the library, but if I'm going to get a devotional type book, you got to buy those, right? You just got to get those so you can market them and do what you need to. But walking around the bookstore was so much fun and inspiring. That's the word I'm looking for. It was inspiring. And so while we're at Barnes & Noble, my sister, she always has to get her a chocolate chip cookie. That is her thing. It's like this big, it's just a nice size yummy cookie. And she's a cookie person like me. She likes the harder cookies, the more crunchy type cookies, and I'm like the soft, but this one's a good mixture of the two. And so she got her a cookie, and I was getting me one too. And so this is where our story is. So we're in the like coffee shop area, bakery area. And my sister's getting her a cookie. I am sitting at the table, waiting on her because I was going to buy her the cookie. So I was just waiting, because they said they had to make them, fresh. And so I was just waiting, but she went up there and she said she was going to go check on something else, I thought, but then next thing I know, she's getting her cookie. So she's in line. There's a few people behind her. There's this older lady behind her who just didn't look very happy. And then there's a couple behind her who were just chatting, older as well. So I go up there to meet her and I'm like, oh, hey, did you get your cookie? She's like, yeah, I got two. I was like, oh, okay. Are they, one for you, one for now, one for later? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, I do think I want to get me one. So she's like, okay, cool. So she gets her cookies and then she walks away. And oh wait, not yet. So she gets her cookie and, I'm like, okay, let me get my cookie. So I start getting money out of my purse, and I don't often carry cash around me. I just happen to have cash because, hey, Christmas, right? So I had some cash and I was getting some change out. Well, I was getting the change I knew I would need, and I dropped my nickel, okay? And it just rolled past my sister right next to the foot of the lady who was behind us, the older lady who didn't look happy. And so I look down at it and I look at my sister and she's like, is your nickel down there? I said, yeah. And I look at the older lady, and when I say she just, some people just have a look like, I'm not moving and I dare you to come close to me. She had that look kind of, and I'm not trying to judge or anything. That's just the look she had. And so I look at my sister and I said, I'm just going to let it, go. I just, and I was hoping the lady would notice that I'm like, not gonna get that, y'all. She didn't blink. She didn't care. She's like, nah, I ain't helping you out. You if you want this nickel, you gonna come down right next to my big old toe and get it. And I was like, this lady. And so I let it go. I said, it's just a nickel. We gonna let it slide. If it was a quarter, I might have reached out and got it. But because it was a nickel, I was like, we're going to let that nickel go. And so but that's not the end of it. So then my sister leaves because she gets her cookie, and I'm up there and I'm ordering my cookie. And I'm telling you, this lady, I think she's just mad at me. And I don't know if it's because she thought I was cutting, because technically there was a couple people behind my sister. And then after my sister left, I was up there. Now I had to put the order in for my cookie. And I'm telling you, I was way too scared to look back at her to see her face when I was like, oh, I would also like to buy a cookie. And here's my money for it, even though my sister's gone and I was with her. But, and so I get my cookie. I feel like I can feel this woman staring down at the back of my neck. Like I can just feel the heat coming off, her, but I did not look back. I did not until I walked away and I kind of glanced down at my nickel and I just kept walking. And I walked to my sister and I was like, Beth, you left me. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah. So I felt terrible. I feel like I was cutting that woman and I don't think she liked it. And we laughed. And especially considering like that nickel was lost. Like she was not going to help at all. And she was, I don't know if she was in a rush to get somewhere, just mad. I don't know. And, so I'm not mad at her. I just knew better than to attempt to go get that nickel. I was like, I'm just going to let that one slide. That nickel's going to be lost forever. Maybe the couple behind her could have picked it up and used it, but that was just my Barnes & Noble story. Again, it was inspiring. I had fun with my sister. Afterward, we were able to go to one of the ladies at our church. She invited some other ladies over to her house where she cooked for us, and it was so very good. And we also sang for my sister there. She bought her this huge cake. which was just so sweet and so just thoughtful of her to do. And we had a good time there. And it really was nice to just hang out with people, other people. Sometimes when it's the holidays, you're around your family all the time. And I love my family to death. Don't get me wrong. But it's cool to also hang out with other people during that time, because it's just everybody's feeling like, okay, this is our season. This is a season of joy and laughter, and family and friends and reflection and all that stuff. And so it was good to be with them. And that was last weekend leading up to New Year's. And here we are. So we had New Year's, and I hope you had a fantastic New Year's. Like I said, a great New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve was on Sunday this year. And we had our regular, service that morning. I do know we used to, back in the day, have this thing called watch night service. I know some churches still have it, but that's when you have church, and it used to start at 9, and it would go all the way through midnight. I mean, like a church service, you would sing, you would worship, you would praise. And the thing is, because it started at 9 and you knew you were at least going to be there till midnight because you had to pray in the new year, you would go hard on some songs, and you would go long because you're we got 3 hours to burn anyway. We just gonna go, we're gonna pray through, we're gonna sing, we're gonna worship, we're gonna cry, we're gonna shout. We would do it all in one night, and it was good times. Now, it was tiring. I will admit it was tiring, but somehow, I guess because we were young, I don't know, but the older people did it too. I can't say it was youth. It ain't nothing to do with youth. Forgive me for saying that. It just a passion, I guess. Loving God, loving the Lord, wanting to bring in that new year, knowing that other people were staying up late doing other things. So why not stay up late and praise God, right? But we didn't do a watch night service. We haven't done that in a couple of years. So my husband and I, we just stayed home. We chilled, and then at midnight we had our sparkling punch and was like, Happy New Year, love you. And then literally 12:15 was in bed. So yeah. But I've had some good after watch night parties. I remember we used to go to this one guy at our church. He would have kind of like a party, an after party at his house, and we would have food there, whether it would be pizza or breakfast food or whatever, and we would play games all night and do it until until people were tired, till 3, 4 in the morning, 5, 6, however late we just stayed until the last person left, and that was really fun. Now that aspect of watch night, I do think you probably have to be a little younger to really do, but those are good memories. And so our New Year's, brought it in with my husband. That was wonderful. And yeah. And so it's 2024. And you guys know I'm very kind of forward thinking as far as thinking about the future. And you would think that I would have created my New Year's resolutions and things before New Year's happened. But when I say, I'm telling y'all, I have been so behind that I knew the week before leading up to it after Christmas, I was like, I got to think about what I want to do. I got to think about, things that I got to think about how I want this new year to be. But I was really struggling with finding what I wanted to motivate me, right? I was like, I don't know. And so I did reflect on, I did want to continue my look forwards, which I think I mentioned before, but if I haven't, my look forwards, it's I have a list on my checklist app of each month, January through December. And next to each month, I wrote down one thing each month that I looked forward to. And that was just for my year. And y'all, I was able to check it off. Some things I changed around, but it was really cool December to be able to mark it off. I think I wrote down winter break, literally these are winter break. November was Thanksgiving. October was fall break, just little things to look forward to. September, I think it was hanging out with my sister that month. August, I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But I had something for each month. And so I knew I kind of want to continue that. So I went ahead and started my 2024 looking forwards. But even then I was like, but that's not enough. And of course, you guys, if you remember my mid-year's resolution, my last few resolutions for a New Year's has been pretty basic, just to move more, sleep more, drink more water. And I still agree with that. I definitely still want to do those things. But I don't know. I think a part of me wants to switch it up in some ways. So New Year's Day came and I was sitting there like, okay, it's a fresh, like I woke up, you guys, New Year's Day, like, it's the new year. It's a fresh start. I'm ready. Like I hadn't planned anything yet, but I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I was like, I am, you know what? I was like, I don't want, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to look at it like this year I'm going to do blank, 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 blank. But I was like, I want to look at it like this point of restarting, I'm going to do blank, 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 blank. And I say that because, like, if I think about the whole year, I'm like, man, that just feels so long. Like, that's, for me, that's hard to commit to. I don't know that I can commit to a full year of something, right? And I'm sure I could if I set my mind to it, right? But it was just, I'm just like, ugh, you know, you usually give up. That's why I started my whole quarterly goals. Or even my mid-year resolutions, like check in at mid-year. But I think I was like, you know what? I I don't want to put the pressure on me to say I'm going to do this every single day of this year, or I'm going to do this entire year. My whole goal for this year is this, because life is way too fluid for me. It's like it changes. There's so many ups and downs and so many changes that to me, like it's hard to say that this is what I'm going to be my go-to for this entire year, right? Now, there are the ones like I do want to move more. I want to exercise. I do want to sleep more. I got to do better with sleep. I do want to drink more water. Definitely still need to. I want to pray more. I want to read my Bible more. I want to do more of a lot of things. And honestly, my dad said it right. He had a chance to speak at the New Year's Eve service, and he literally just left it at like, we want more in 2024, but that's true. Like we want more of God, but like, you know, more, I want to do more of everything. But also when you think about more can be intimidating, right? Because more is more than what you're doing now. And so it's just like, you know, and so I've been thinking like, how do I want to go about this? And so day one, I created a list of things that I wanted to accomplish that day. And I said, today I want to do something for the house because I'm thinking about the things that I've been blessed with, you know, that God's blessed me with. He's blessed me with my house. So I said, I want to do something for my house. And that can look like just dusting. It can look like doing the dishes. It can look like vacuuming. It can look like, and this is probably stuff that you're like, I do that every day already. You guys, I know, but I don't. And so I want to be able to do little things every day. I think this is my year of like maintenance. Like, I don't know, like I want to do a little something every day. And when I say a little something, like literally a little something every day, just enough, but in like multiple areas of my life. So I wrote down, like I said, so I had, I wanted to do something for the house, which could be literally just something small. I wanted like taking out the trash, you know, I wanted to do something for my husband each day. It could be something small, you know, just a little thing each day. So far I've been able to come up with something. But like, I want to really, that's just making me conscious of the things that I want to do for him, each day. And y'all, we're 1 week in, you know, we can do a check-in in like 2 weeks and we see where we going to be. Okay. But for the time being, I want to do one thing for my husband. And then I said something for me physically. So that could be working out. That could be, drinking all that water that I want to drink, eating that thing or eating healthy that day, some good physical choice. And then something for me mentally. So that could be if I need to veg out a little bit, or if I need to go get a massage, or if I need to color in a book or something. But something for my brain, just, you know, for my mind. And then of course all my Bible things, like I want to keep up with my Bible in a year, listening to that, which I have been. Whoop, whoop. I want to, you know, read my Bible every day, pray. I want to sing to God every day. And that's all I have. Like literally that's it. Like every day, those are the little things I want to do. And so I've been able to do those things this week, but I know it's easier when I'm not working, right? Like, I start work back next week. Y'all, I start work back next week. School starts next week. I ain't ready for it. But it's coming, so it's fine. But anyway, and so this week I've been like, okay, let me get in the habit of what this can look like and how it can look different each day. So that way when school starts back, it can look different. And then because my list can change daily, then I could say like at school, I want to make sure that I high five 3 kids today or smile at a kid, like nothing big. That's kind of, okay. If I could say what this year is going to be for me, it's going to be my year of little things. I can't like I love the big picture. I really do. But I want to do all those little things that make up that big picture, if that makes sense. And this could be because I'm being influenced by Atomic Habits, talking about those little things, those little day-to-day things. But also I think a lot of it is because I am, and I don't know if you can relate to this, so I'm just going to share my thoughts and hope that you at least get where I'm coming from. But I'm one of those people who's very forward future thinking, which means that I set goals for the future and I just want to work to get them. And I do not enjoy often the journey to get there. I just want to get there, right? I like if I with schooling, I would be like, okay, I want to get this degree. All right, I will put in the work and I'll get that degree. And while I'm putting in the work, I'm just like, I'm grinding. It just is what it is. I got to get through it. And then when I'm done. I'm like, whoo, yeah, got that under my belt. And I move on. And I do that with a lot of things. Like there are things that I look forward to, things that are even out of my control that I just I just want that next thing. And so I'm trying to kind of teach myself, train myself, have God help me work out how to not be so focused on my future that I not forget, but that I don't value the now, I think. And because it's the I have to live every day. Like let's say, in May I'll be getting my endorsement, my ESL endorsement. I'll have it in May. So I'm like, okay, I just got to put in the work until I get there. But there are 5 months in between now and there. There's approximately 150 days. Did I do my math right? I don't know, 5 months, 5 times 30, 50, yeah, roughly. So approximately those are days that I'm going to have to live before I get there. And I just don't want to wish them away or rush through them or get through it all so quickly just because I want to get to that end point. And I'm not saying like my ESL endorsement is that end point. No. But with my life in general, I want to be able to recognize and value my life right now as it is. Right now, even though I am not the weight I want to be, or even though I don't have all the skills that I want to have, or even though there are still things that I feel like I'm imperfect right now, in my life, but I want to be able to just, I don't know, like but look at the good and find value in where I am right now. Okay. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you. I'm not trying to like, just, give you all of that, but that's what I'm trying to do is enjoy the now. Cause I know some people might be stuck in the past. You might be someone who it's hard to get over things that have happened in the past, either good or bad. Like it used to be so good and so great, and now it's different, or it was terrible, and now I don't know what to do in response, or something like that. So there may be past things or future things, and actually this kind of reminds me of last year, preaching to myself literally. I had a chance to speak to the ladies of our church. I think it was last year. Yeah, well, obviously it was last year. It wasn't this year. Where I talked about how God sometimes he says not right now, that's the future stuff we're looking forward to. And then sometimes he says not anymore. Those are the things that maybe we held on to that we had to let go of. There's some things we had to let go of, and there's some things that we don't have yet. But there are things that God has given us right now in our lives right now that he's doing right now. And we have to look for those things, right? And not get stuck in the forward or the past thinking. And so anyway, I said all that to say, I'm so sorry. I said all that to say that my New Year's resolution, I guess resolutions or my theme or whatever you want to call it, is to focus on the little things, focus on those daily things that bring joy. Just focus on what I can do each day and enjoying each moment that I can. And so what's kind of funny is I found a book that 100% directly, I think so far, aligns with my thinking. And y'all, it's by my girl Joyce Myers. Y'all know it's a book I found on my shelf that apparently I had picked up at some point or another, that I needed it, because this is not a new personality trait of mine. I have always had this personality trait of forward thinking. This book, it didn't surprise me that I found it on my shelf, but it did excite me that I found it on my shelf. And so it's called Enjoying Where You Are I think it's called Enjoying Where You Are on the Way to Where You're Going. Oh, what is it? Oh, look, I'm going to go grab it. Hang on a second. Let me go grab this book. Okay, yes, I got it. So it is Enjoying Where You Are on the Way to Where You Are Going. Okay, like does that not like just align with what I'm thinking? Okay, won't you do it? So this is by Joyce Meyer, and you guys, I've only read the first 2 chapters, I believe, so far, and that's the other part of me, just taking it bit by bit, day by day. And I've already just found little nuggets that have just been so inspired, so inspiring. Little things like little quotes that they speak to me, you guys, they really do. I'm sitting here looking through the book now. I'm like, let's see, are there any quotes that I would want to share with you guys? I have some highlights. Watch them be so random to you though. If you haven't read the entire thing, then you might be like, what is this? Look, the very first quote, this is like line number 1 in the introduction. Actually, it's the second line. She said, I frequently say that many people are on their way to heaven, but very few are enjoying the trip. Like, come on, somebody. That's so, I mean, that's true. Like, we're on our way somewhere, but then we're just so excited about that end point that we just forget to find joy in the journey. And okay, another quote. She was talking about different people. She goes, I had to change my attitude toward people. She said, I was trying to change them so that I would find them enjoyable instead of accepting them the way they were and enjoying them while God was changing them. I mean, come on. I was like, go ahead. This is some good stuff. She said, we must learn. I know. Okay, I'm done. I'll be finished soon. We must learn to seek the next phase in our journey without despising or belittling the one in which we currently find ourselves. Okay, so she's not saying you can't have goals. She's not saying you can't look forward to something and plan for things, but she's saying that can't be your everything, that there's still the day to day, there's still where you are and on that journey that's still just as important, and that you can still enjoy. So yeah, so that's a new book, I guess, or another book for me to recommend, Enjoying Where You Are on the Way to Where You Are Going. Like I said, I'm only about 2 chapters in, but I really do feel like it'll speak to me and help me on this little journey of trying to, focus on the little things and to I don't know, think about the day to day and finding joy with where I am. And so, like I said, I've created this list of things that I wanted to do each day. And on that list I did want to start doing devotions. You guys know I always want to do devotions. It's just, will I do devotions, books to read, things like that. And so part of the flexibility of, do a devotional is that it can be this book, but it can be something else. And actually, I had found a podcast where it's a podcast by Ken Gurley. It's a daily devotional podcast. So they're only literally like every single one is like 14 minutes long. I don't know how in the world he does it. He's very skilled. Let's just say that. But he has little devotionals in there. And so like one of the days, so like January 1st, I think I read the devotional from Joyce Meyer. But then the next day, I think I read chapter 2. But then the next day, okay, the 3rd, I listened to a devotional and I counted that. I was like, check, because I'm still kind of getting that encouragement. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself or find ways for others to encourage you. And that was another thing. I was like, I want more encouragement. Like when I get on social media and Instagram or Facebook or things like that, sometimes people post good encouraging things, but sometimes it's just stuff, I was like, but I want just good things going into me because I want good things coming out of me, right? And so I listened to his podcast, and I did want to share, since we're on all of this changing and doing better and all these things, and I promise you guys we will get lighthearted here in a second. I'm so sorry to throw this at you, but I did want to share my thoughts in case this helps somebody, or if you just find yourself like wanting to do something different, or just, I don't know, if you just doing something, you just listen to me, just listen. But I was listening to this podcast, and he was talking about, it's called The Palm and the Willow was the episode title. And I was interested in it because it was on it was a week series of, when you're in pain, or when you're struggling with being in darkness or things like that, and how to deal with that, as a Christian, because that can be tough. And he said that in one of his podcasts, I think called Why the Pain, that one of the hardest things as a Christian person is reconciling pain with God being all loving and kind. We're like, God, if you love me, why is there suffering in the world? That's the biggest question essentially that everybody has to deal with, and has to learn about. God's ways are higher, and things like that. But not to diminish anyone's feelings or anything like that. But so I was listening to, so that week is that was the theme. And so the very first episode of the week was the palm tree and the willow, the palm and the willow. And he was basically saying how you can worship God two different ways. You can worship him with the palm tree, the palm branch, which is representing victory and joy and peace and all that lovely stuff. And then, or with the willow branch, which represents those hard times, the rough times, the valleys and things like that. And how he was saying, raise them both up to God in worship and prayer, because, they're both worship. Both sides are worship and praise. And y'all, that just spoke to me, because in this day-to-day, I'm telling you, it was hot again. In the day-to-day, in trying to do things right every day, there are days and there are moments within every day that there's the good and you feel accomplished and you feel like you did it. And then there are moments in the day, or there are days where it's the opposite. It's not going your way. It's not going good. You don't like it. It hurts. There's pain. There's both, right? Life has both, the good and the bad, and they're hand in hand. And sometimes we will get so consumed with one or the other, without realizing that there's a balance there. When something bad happens, sometimes we magnify it and it becomes everything we see, and we don't see the good. Or when something good happens, we rejoice in it and we love it. And then when there's something else bad, we just kind of brush it off. And we're like, no, we don't want to, address that or whatever. But you don't have to be scared of both, of either one. You don't have to try to think that you're going to only live in one. You're not only going to live in happiness, right? We all know that. But then sometimes we forget that also means we're not only going to live in pain either. There are seasons, there are things come, they go. And then even within the day, seasons I think are the more time type changes. It may take months or years of a certain season. But then there's the daily kind of ebb and flow of things. And I want to learn to enjoy every single day. But I think part of that is also understanding that when there are bad days or when there are bad moments, they don't have to consume me. And I can take those moments and still bring them to God and give them to God and worship him regardless, and worship him in it, and I hope this makes sense. I really do. It's just been on my heart. It's been on my mind this week. So I just thought I would share it. But to give God both sides of you, both parts of you, both the negative willow parts of you, and then the positive palm tree parts of you. And that's kind of been my thing on the podcast. He had challenged that whoever was listening to for 7 days, try to praise God with both. Try to worship him with the willow branch and the palm branch. And that's been my thing. And so day one, when I tried it, I was like, okay, I literally put my hands out in front of me, and my right hand, I said, okay, this is the willow branch hand. Guys, I just picked a hand. So this is my willow branch. And I said all the things that, even though my life is amazing and great, there are certain parts of my life that hurt, right? And so I just said all of those things. I said, this is what hurts. This is the pain. But with this hand, and I lifted it up, I said, I worship and I praise you with this willow branch hand. And then I looked over at my left hand, my praise, or my, the good things, the palm tree branch. And I said, these are the great things in my life, because I do see them, God. I do see what you've blessed me with, and I'm so thankful for them. And I lift this hand, and I lifted that hand up, and I waved it, and I was like, and I worship you with this hand. And so I worship God with both my hands. And it felt, I was like, okay, there was something to validating both sides of me. I'm not saying I'm split, but I'm validating all of the experiences that makes us human, like the good and the bad, but being able to take those both to God and still worship and praise Him, not diminishing one for the other, but taking them both and bringing them to God. So that was just, that devotional was great, tied within, just trying to enjoy the journey, trying to figure this stuff out, and to focus on the little things with hopefully the end goals of being, hopefully, if I take care of myself physically, I'll feel better. I might even lose weight. Hopefully if I continue to take care of my house, it will last me a long time and it'll stay clean longer. Hopefully by trying to do something for the hubs each day, our just relationship grows and our love, lasts for forever and all that stuff. So just those little things. And I want to just try my best to make it, habits, make it part of who I am, because I think it's good. So low pressure. So New Year's resolution wise, that's about as far as I get. Because that's just where I am. I don't have any specific resolutions other than to enjoy the little things, daily, to figure out how to enjoy where I am, in the moment that I am, in the moment that I'm in. So yeah, that's my New Year's resolutions. If you guys have some, feel free to share them. If you guys have some New Year's thoughts, I know a lot of people have New Year's words, things that they want to, that they, like to share or, speak. And I love that. I do love words, themes of the year. I know like rest is a good one. Thinking more, can be good. Faithfulness, whatever it is, you might have a word, you might have a theme, you might have a practice, something that you're doing. But yeah, whatever it is, feel free to share it. Hit me up on Instagram. Y'all know, look, I'm Instagram me. Let me know. Text me. Like I said, I think Spotify has that question thing. I think I'll put the question on there. So if you want to answer on Spotify, y'all, like, I didn't even know that existed until like a few months ago when I told y'all, I was like, what is this? But yeah, do all those things. And I'm almost finished. We're almost done with the episode. But I did want to, talk about New Year's, of course, talk about Christmas and get through that. So, move slightly away from those kind of heavier, but fun topics still. I do want to recommend. So since I did say that I've been trying to also, do something physically each day. I've been going to the gym because when you're off work, you got more time to do stuff like that. So I've been going to the gym, and I do have a gym story to tell you guys. But so I went to the gym, but one of the days I did not go to the gym and my neck was hurting, and I just happened to have this app, which was this Workout Women app, and it was for free. But you can like look up workouts on there. And so I looked up like back, neck app or like things, and it gave me these lovely stretches. It was like this 20-minute like yoga type thing, where I could do these stretches for my neck and my back, and I did that for 20 minutes. And let me just say, I counted that as my physical thing of the day because my neck really did feel better after that. So don't sleep on those apps. Some of those apps that just kind of guide you through exercises are kind of fun. Like the gym is, obviously a little more fun because you got the hype of other people and you feel like a gym bunny, when you go. Y'all, I don't even know if that's an appropriate term, but you feel cool when you go. But if you don't get a chance to go, or if you just don't feel like it, those apps sometimes can be very helpful. And the one I found was Workout for Women. So if you're one of my male listeners, I'm sure there's a male version somewhere, but for my lady listeners, that one's a pretty fun one and a very easy one, to kind of jump on and to do stuff with as well. But speaking of when I was at the gym, I was in one of my fitness classes and we were listening to the song. Surprisingly, the song, Mama Taught Me This, I think, with Andy Mineo. And in the chorus says, "It is what it is. Live and let live." My mama told me this. Hey. And so, but the key part being that it is what it is. And it was funny because in the workout class, the instructor was like, "It is what it is." And this older lady who's recently been coming yelled out, "And it ain't what it ain't." Y'all, I'd never heard of that before. I was like, okay, look, I like like that. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And the way I took it was, sometimes it is what it is. It's kind of like, man, the situation, man, it just is what it is. There's only so much you can do about it. But I like it ain't what it ain't, because it's almost like, well, don't make it what it's not either, though. Like, don't make it more than what it is, right? It ain't what it ain't. Like, it ain't what it ain't either. So I like that. I had never heard that before. I thought it was funny. She's a spunky little lady. I had my class today, and she was in there, and she loves to just holler out stuff. I mean, she's fun because she's older. She's just like this older, short little lady. I'm getting her workout on. I'm like, you go, girl. But which is funny because most of the people in my class are older, and I think it's because they're off during the day. I was like, look, when I'm retired one day, I'm going to be a gym person who does all these little classes. So I just thought I liked that. I like that phrase. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Okay. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. And then a random, like, we've moved on, y'all. We're back to the random parts. A slight random thing that I want to, that is a goal of this year, which is kind of funny, is I want to, and this is one of those little daily things that I think will be good, start unsubscribing from emails, from things that I've signed up for or they've got my email at some point, because I get emails every single day from something and I just delete them. Like, as they come in, I delete them. And I'll get them multiple times and I'll just delete them, right? Multiple times a day. I don't think I finished that sentence. I'll get them multiple times a day, but I'll just delete them. But I am like, I need to start clicking on that button and clicking unsubscribe, because I don't look at them. I don't read them. I'm not interested. I should just unsubscribe from them. And so that's going to be a goal. I think that literally is something that I want to do, is I want to at least take 2 seconds and unsubscribe from some of these emails that I know I do not need. And I think I'm one of those people who's like, but what if one day no, just resubscribe. You'll probably get your 15% off again anyway. Just unsubscribe for the time being. So that is one of my goals that I thought I would just share. And then the other thing was, I was looking at the floor of my car, and I just had to giggle, because I was like, I think the floors of people's cars tell you a little something about them. Because I was looking at the floor of my car, and I just had a receipt. Usually it's full of receipts. I had a library book. I think I don't think I had a candy wrapper, because that's usually shoved into my cup holder. But I had some bookmarks from my textbooks. Of course, I have a box of tissues, because, you got to have that in your car. But I was just like, I wonder what other people have on, like, the seat or the floors of their cars. Like, of course, you got your little neat freaks. Sorry. You have your neat friends. You do have your little neat friends who they've got nothing, like, on their floors, because they just keep their cars clean. But that's what I have. Now, I usually don't have food. I can't say that. I don't have, like, bags of old food or anything like that. I might have something that I dropped that I didn't see. So I do have that, but I've got, like, hair clips and things. And so I'm just like, it's kind of funny what the car collects, like, what that can tell you about. And so I was like, I wonder what people have in their cars, like, in their flooring. And I don't, no one may ever share this with me. If you're a friend of mine and you listen, feel free to find me and be like, this is something random I have in the seat of my car. But, that's just something that I thought about, that I thought I would share with you guys and tell you guys what I had on the floor of my car seat. But yeah, I want to end this episode with a couple of things. First off, so our church, we are doing a fast right now, and it's not something I would just normally talk about, because I think fasting is one of the things you do. You don't talk about it, you don't brag about it, you just do it. But I had to laugh because when I can't remember what I was in the store to get. I stopped in to get something, but I think I went to get some tea. But I went in the store, and I tell you what, when you are fasting, everything sounds good. I mean, stuff that you even think about, like, it wasn't even that I saw something that triggered, maybe I did, but, like, I thought about some random dish that I saw on, like, Pinterest or something. I'm like, you know what, that sounds good. And not only does everything sound good when you're fasting, like, you get ideas. You're like, you know what, when I'm off the fast, I'm going to make this big thingamajiggy food that just sounds so good right now. Or, you know what, I've never tried this recipe, or I've never tried this thing, and that just sounds amazing. Everything sounds so good when you're fasting. It's hilarious. I was just cracking myself up, because I was like, girl, literally yesterday when you were not fasting, that none of this appealed to you. And now that you're fasting, all of a sudden it's like, that sounds good, you know? And then on Pinterest, looking at recipes and be like, I can easily make that, you know, because you're thinking like, I don't know what you're thinking. You're not thinking. You're hungry. You know, you ain't thinking right. So you're like, I'm going to make that and make that and make that. But whenever you break the fast, you immediately go back to whatever you used to. And then it's just, y'all, it's funny. So I just had to share that, not to talk about fasting or to brag about it or to do anything like that, to get something, none of that. But just to say it's funny, because if you are fasting or if you've ever been fasting, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, how literally everything sounds so good for like no reason. And I don't know if this is something that other people share with me, but pizza always sounds amazing when I'm fasting. Like the one thing that I'm like, you know what, if I'm gonna break this fast, I'm gonna break it off on pizza, which is probably like the worst thing you could break a fast with because of the grease, the cheese, the meat. Like, I don't think there's anything really good about the pizza that would make it a good thing to break your fast on. But for some reason, pizza always sounds good to break your fast on. At least to me. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but at least for me, it definitely feels that way. But so speaking of that, we've made it to the end. I want to talk about my food segment and then my music segment. Food segment wise, I just want to throw out there Oreo balls. Yes, Oreo balls. And I have to give a shout out to Brittany. She's a lady who used to go to our church. Hey, Britt, I don't know if you listen, but I'm shouting you out, girl, because she taught me how to make Oreo balls. And they're so easy, yet so yummy. And if you've never had them, you got to get you some. And you guys know I like easy. Like I don't like to cook. I don't like to bake. I don't like to do any of that. But if it's easy, I'll do it because I like food, right? So Oreo balls, all you need is like a whole bag of Oreos. Throw that in your blender thing, and crunch them up. Make sure they're really crunchy. Like they're thin, they're fine. They're blended completely. So all your Oreos, do that. You can do the white Oreos or the chocolate. My husband loves the vanilla. I love the chocolate. And then you put that in a bowl with an 8-ounce thing, so like the whole shebang of cream cheese, and you blend it. So it's nice and makes a squishy little, like just a thing that you can squish into a ball. And then literally that's what you do. You blend it, you squish it into a ball, you refrigerate it or freeze it for a few minutes, bring it back out, dip it in some melted chocolate. Just get your regular like chocolate bark thing and melt that, and then dip it in there and then let it harden, which you could do in the refrigerator. It's best in the refrigerator. I do think they're best cold. And then they're ready to go, and they're so good. They're like the perfect little snack. They're just really yummy. They're really easy to make. If you like the chocolate, I do my chocolate on chocolate. But if you like vanilla, the vanilla Oreos, those little Oreos, golden Oreos, I think is what they're called. One of the did they used to be called Oreos? What was the Oreo? Why is that in my head? I don't know. But the vanilla Oreos, you can make those and dip them in white chocolate. My husband loves those. My husband, my dad. I personally like the chocolate on chocolate, but the white ones are good too. So that's my food segment. Are those Oreo balls perfect for taking to family events or things like that? Perfect for gifting. I know my first year we moved into the house, I gifted that to all my neighbors. I made them a batch of the white and chocolate Oreos, and I put them in a little box and like just passed them out to everybody. And it was, while it was out of the kindness of my heart, I will say my neighbors, one of my neighbors gave us cookies first. So okay. So you're not like, oh, Phoebe, you're so sweet. I try to be, yes, but it was to give back. But that has been something, that my mom actually made us do, all the time, was pass out stuff to our neighbors for Christmas. So I think I would have at some point, she would have been like, hey, did you get your neighbors something for Christmas? And I'd be like, oh yeah, let me do that. We'd get them like either cookies or get them that like make your own cookie kind of cute mixture that they sell around the holidays. But yes, Oreo balls, perfect little gift, perfect for parties, just something to bring in. They're usually a hit. Like everywhere you go, they're a hit. So if you still got any holiday parties left, make that. If you just want to make you some, if you're like, look, my goal for New Year's is not to care about food, to develop a healthy relationship with food. So I'm going to eat more junk food if I want to. Okay, make you some. Do that thing. Do all that. And they're just good. They're good little snacks. And you can just eat one and that can be like your snack for the day, or 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, hey, eat the whole thing. No, I'm just kidding. I did, y'all, like I am trying to wrap this up, but I did make some chocolate covered strawberries this week because my husband brought strawberries because he's like, we're going to try to eat healthier. So let's get some fruit. And I saw them strawberries, and I had just made the Oreo balls, right? So I still had that chocolate, and I was like, ooh, I bet these would be good dipped in chocolate. So I made these chocolate covered strawberries. And when I say I made like 12 and ate probably 10 that same day, you guys, I know, but that's okay because that was my joy for the day. You know, I'm trying to enjoy the journey. That was my joy for the day. Oh no, but, that's my food segment. And then I want to end on my music segment, which kind of takes us back to when I was talking about the 2 different types of praises. So the, praising them with the willow branch, praising them with the palm tree. So that same day, I was trying to come up with songs because one of my goals this year, or just not even this year, I don't want to say that. One of my things that I want to do more is sing to Jesus on my off time. I sing at church a lot, and I used to sing to him all the time when I prayed, and I've been singing less. And so I want to get back into the habit of singing to him when I pray. And the easiest way to do that is to have a song playing on my phone, and I just sing with the song. I'm not like coming up with things, you guys. And so I was trying to find 2 songs to kind of represent the willow part of me and the palm tree part of me. And so for the willow part of me, and it seemed to fit perfectly, was the song Thy Will by, I think it's Hillary Scott. I'm pretty sure it's her name. It's not a new song by any means, but it's a good one. And she just sings about Thy will be done. Okay, that wasn't the right key. The right key. And what was I trying to say? Anyway, that's hilarious. Anyway, so the song is Thy Will by Hillary Scott. And, it just perfectly seemed to fit kind of that willow branch need of me. Like that first verse, I think she says like, I'm so confused. Something ended up here, but it don't feel good. Da, 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 da. I don't want to think. I don't want to something. All I know is da-da-da, but thy will be done, all that stuff. In the chorus is beautiful. I wish I could sing it. She's a soprano. I could try to falsetto it, but it would not sound good. So I just took it down a key. Thy will be done. It's a beautiful song. She sings it very beautifully. So if you are in that willow branch kind of moment of your life, which, like I said, I think at almost all points we have both, that's a fantastic song to listen to. And then on the other side for my palm tree song, I was like, I need something that's like hype. That's like, thank you God for all you've done. And so I saw a song that's not new. Once again, this one isn't new either, but it's new to me in the sense that I've recently been getting into it because the first like several times I heard it, I really wasn't feeling it, but I kind of it's like growing on me, and it's called Praise. I think Brandon Lake, y'all know my boy. And who's the other guy? Chris Brown, somebody. But it's called Praise. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Oh, my soul. Look, I know. I should not be singing that, but that's so much fun. And that was that palm tree side. Like it's that rejoicing because it's like an anthem type song, like one of those like beats, like an anthem. Yeah. And then there's just parts of it that are fun to sing. So I'll say, if you listen to it, sing along with it and hit that praise part. Because for a while I was riding in my car and I was doing it and I would just do like falsetto, praise the Lord, oh my soul. But then I was like, you know what? I'm in my car by myself. And I just went, praise. I went up a key, but I just got it louder. Is what I meant to say. I just sang it to like full voice, praise the Lord, oh my soul. And I love the O part, oh my soul, so that was good. So in my brain, I sang both songs and I was like, I'm waving both branches at you, Lord. So those are my 2 song recommendations for waving both branches to the Lord. That's going to be probably my little go-to. That's going to help me with my enjoying where I am on the way to where I'm going. You guys, look, it's full circle. Ain't there something about Tuesdays, right? Isn't that part of our theme? Something about Tuesdays, that place of who you are and who you want to be. Come on, somebody. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and for tuning in. We're going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys had just the best new year. I hope you are looking forward to things, that you have goals that you want to reach, that you set them, you make them. If you don't have goals, that's cool too. You may be like, look, life is good and gravy right now. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ups and the downs. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in a couple weeks.